Welcome to the Trust Factor Radio, bringing you interviews and insights to unlock the power of the subconscious mind to create authority, credibility, and trust. With your host, the Authority Architect and best-selling author, Neil Howe.
Hello, welcome to the show. This is your host, Neil Howe, and today my guest is Mr. Paul Mikel. Now, Paul is an entrepreneur that started many successful multi-million-dollar businesses, and he is now in the restaurant delivery space with a company called Snap Delivered. Paul Mikel, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, tell me a little bit about Snap Delivered. Why the restaurant delivery service business, and why now?
Well, I never grew up thinking, man, I can't wait someday to be in the delivery business. That was like not my goal. Actually, I didn't have a lot of goals when I was younger. I wasn't one of those people that went to school, got my degree. I ended up in the restaurant business when I first, 30 something years ago, started as a waiter at a country club. I was around very wealthy people. I didn't really understand how to make money, but I was lucky. I got introduced to a guy that had a huge company and took me on kind of he became my mentor and is till this day. And I started doing business, and I love business, and I started a bunch of different businesses. And, I like to find things that are trends. I like to find things that have an upward growth that are, and what I like to do is find things that maybe somebody else is doing, but they're not doing it as well as it could be done, or find a niche. Or, one of the companies I started a few years ago was a gold buying company. Gold prices about 10 years ago went sky high. And my ex-wife and I, we started a company where women didn't really feel comfortable going into into a pawn shop or a jewelry store selling things, but they felt comfortable having their friends and family over to their home. So right. We trained techs. We were buying $1 million in gold a week. We were doing it all over the country, Canada, Puerto Rico. And so what we did was we found a niche within another business, and it was very successful. So probably about 5 years ago, maybe 4 years, a great friend of mine that I actually worked with when he first started out in marketing, sales, that type of thing. He calls me one of his mentors, but I mean, he's done probably better than I have in a lot of areas. And he called me up, and we always kept in touch with each other. We've always been friends. We've helped each other with businesses. And he said, hey, I'm getting into the delivery business. And I said, well, good for you. I mean, I don't understand it. I mean, at this time, Uber Eats, DoorDash, they were just kind of starting out. He was in about 30 different cities already with this, a small delivery business. He grew it to over 300 cities doing, hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue on a yearly basis. It became in the Inc. 500 in growth rate. And so he was doing well with it, and I respected him, but I really still wasn't interested in the delivery business. But I was interested enough in him as my friend and somebody I knew was successful. If he was interested in it, there was something there. Right. And I tell people the joke, I wasn't interested in delivery until I got divorced and delivered a couple $1 million to my ex-wife. So I figured I was good at delivery. I might as well try it out. And so he and I started working in the business, but I really didn't understand. I don't know how much you want me to get into what the reason why I got into it, but I started realizing restaurants were getting charged 15 to 30% on every order. On a $100 order, they're paying $15 to $30 before it ever even left their plate. A hole on that. And I didn't understand how restaurants could do that, but they were. And his business started growing phenomenally. I opened about 7 different cities with him, but I could never fully buy in just because I didn't really get it. I didn't think it was a long-term viable business because I didn't think the restaurants were going to pay that 15 to 30%. They might do it in the beginning. They might do it for a while, but sooner or later, it was going to be something they didn't want to do anymore. And so we did it for a while. We both sold out of our companies. I thought I was going to be out of the delivery business, but I always had this nagging desire to do something that helped the restaurants. And so I started formulating an idea. And then Tony, my partner in this, called me one day and said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. And I said, I told you about doing it with the restaurants not having to pay a couple of years ago. And he goes, yeah, but let's keep going. And so we started talking about it and formulating it and putting it together where the restaurants could only pay a flat fee. We could have an amazing software program. We could also open it up for, reps around the company or country to benefit from helping those restaurants. So we wanted to do something that was win-win for everyone, for the restaurants, for the drivers, for the customers, and for, us as people in the company working.
Now, of course, many of us started in the restaurant business. It's a massive business around the United States, especially. People go out to eat and order delivery, multiple times a week. But like you said, this is a business within the business. This restaurant delivery side has really taken off in the last few years. And most people are familiar with those names: DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats now. To where it's just grown in the last few years to where, they're household names now. But from my understanding, it is $100 million industry plus right now, and is projected to grow to about 200 million in the next few years.
Billion. It's billion.
Billion. Yes. That's right.
It's already 200 billion. So I'm sorry, by 2025, I think if they read a report, they think it's going to be just in the US alone around 200 billion.
Right, which is phenomenal. And of course, with the COVID, the pandemic, it's really sped things up in the industry. But the restaurants aren't happy with it. Tell me what the restaurant owner is feeling, especially with this big push now towards delivery.
Well, I mean, like you said, during the pandemic, I used to try to go talk to restaurants when I was mentioning this on one of our conference calls last night that, I used to go in and try to talk to a restaurant when we first started doing it, and they didn't understand delivery. They didn't want to know about delivery. They didn't care about delivery. I had to convince them that delivery was something good for them. They understood it for, Chinese food and pizza and certain things, but not everything. And so we used to have to go to convince people. Now you don't have to convince them. But what happened was these restaurants, when they had full restaurants, they had people in there. The delivery was just kind of a side product. And it was kind of a service for their existing customers. Maybe they got a few new customers from it, but they didn't really look at the nuts and bolts and the numbers of what they were paying. When you look at the overall picture, if you've got a full restaurant of people who are, you're making money from your drinks and your food and your takeout, and then you got this component of delivery that's a little bit, but it's not huge. So what they decided to do is once a pandemic, can you hear that in the background?
A little bit, but it's good.
All right. Sorry about that. I have my lawn people out here. But so what happened was when they had the restaurants, they weren't really looking at the numbers. When the pandemic hit and restaurants had to close and only do delivery, they started looking at the numbers. They're like, if that's the only thing going out, you start looking at, I'm paying 15 to 30% on every single order that leaves my place. And then on top of that, sometimes the delivery services will raise the price of the food. So they're making 15 to 30% on that. They may raise the food for the restaurant another 10%. And then they've got delivery fees in it. I mean, sometimes the delivery companies are making more on the food than the restaurant. Right. And so they started realizing this. And so we're ripe to take over this industry. We're ripe to do what we're doing. And there's no other company that's trying to do what we're doing. No. They're all trying to do the same exact thing. And my mentor always told me, find what everybody else is doing and do the exact opposite.
Right.
So with what our program is, we charge a flat fee of $2 to the restaurant. We give the customer, and the ability to they pay $5 an order, or they pay a membership fee of $10 for the month, and they can have unlimited deliveries. So we wanted to put something in that really, really benefits the restaurant, because we know if the restaurants are happy with their service, we take care of them better, as well, if not better than any other delivery service, we're going to grow organically. We're not going to have to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on advertising. Because I've always been taught good news travels fast, bad news travels faster. We want to do the right thing. Companies, a lot of times that do millions of dollars in advertising. I'll just give you an example. There was a Super Bowl commercial for one of these top companies that were spending hundreds of millions of dollars on commercials, sitting there saying, we're here to help the restaurant. Mm-hmm. How about you stop spending all that money on all these big ads? Do the right thing, take care of the driver, take care of the restaurants, and take care of the customers. That's how you build a good business, a sustainable trustworthy, long-term business.
Right. And this is a business that is very much a word of mouth business as well, because when you have a great experience with a delivery or a driver, or even the restaurants talking between themselves, they're going to want to share that. There's no need for that 100 million spend on a 3-minute ad or a 30-second ad during the Super Bowl. So one of the things that you mentioned, which I know a lot of people don't know, is that these companies like the Ubers, DoorDash, Grubhubs are actually marking up the menu for the customers. So they're putting an extra expense on the customer as well as charging the restaurant.
They'll hide fees in any place they possibly can. I'll give you an example. I have friends of mine who are actually partners in this. They own restaurants, and they were looking, they started testing out other places because they were going to invest big time in our company to help us in our growth and a great expansion. And they said, well, Paul, look at this. It says that their delivery fee is only $2.99 and yours is $5 or $10 a month. I said, well, if it's $10 a month and you do 10 orders, that brings it down to $1 an order. And most people that order delivery order it over and over and over. Mm-hmm. But I said, let me look at your receipt. They showed me the receipt. I'll give you the specs. It was a $48 order. I said, let's round it to 50 just for, argument's sake. I said, look at that taxes and fees line. Taxes and fee were $13.72. I said, what's your tax rate in your area? They said 7%. And I said, so your sales tax is 7%. 7% of $50 is $3.50.
Right.
There's another $10 and whatever change that they're charging you that you don't even realize because it's in taxes and fees. So you just look at it and go on. I said, so essentially they're charging you that $2.99 plus the $10. You're at $13 on a delivery fee. Plus you don't even know if they raise the price of the food. There's all kinds of ways that they hide, things in there. And not all of them do it, but most of them do. And we want to be as transparent as we possibly can. We're going to tell you, hey, this is what we're charging. We charge for our drivers. We charge on every single order. There's a $3.50 fuel fee. The driver gets $3 of that. And then the driver also gets 100% of their tips. And we really push for our customers to tip. If a customer's not tipping, it's because they feel like their order is already high in the first place. Mm-hmm. I mean, and it is. If you've got fees that are added in, you've got the price markup on the food, you've got all these other things. If we can bring that down and encourage people to say, understand, you know what? We're going to make sure our drivers are trained. We're going to make sure our drivers are happy. We're going to make sure, we've all heard horror stories. If you look up internets on things where drivers are eating food or dropping it off at the corner, we're going to train our drivers to be conscientious. Because listen, a driver is the go-between from the restaurant and the consumer. That's what they know. They don't know the restaurant as much. I mean, they may have been there before, but the one that drops off their food, that's their experience. So we want to make sure our drivers are taken care of. We want to make sure our drivers are happy. And so they get $3 on every single order plus 20%. We're going to push our customers to tip 20%. Not all of them will, but 20% on $50 is $10. If the customer's happy and that driver's getting $10 plus $3 on an order, that's killing the national average for drivers. So
right. I mean, some of the driver fees and tips is like $3. Right. To get 13 compared to 3 is, a huge difference. So the drivers are happy. Now, talk to me about some of these other companies. You said at the start that these other companies are all doing the same thing, and yet none of them are really turning any kind of profit. So what is Snap Deliver doing differently?
None of them. Most of them have. What we're doing differently?
Right.
Okay. So these companies, what they're trying to do, a lot of them is they're trying to get market share. So they have big hedge funds. They have big hundreds of billions of dollars in backing. Some of them are public companies. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to almost cannibalize each other. I know Uber Eats has bought Postmates for over $1 billion. They bought Drizzly, I think, as well, which is an alcohol delivery company. So they've done all these things and they're buying up space, but none of them are really focusing on helping the restaurant. You really want to help the restaurant? Why don't you bring your fees back? Why don't you, like my mentor taught me a long time ago, I'd rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own. And I use that philosophy in this business. Why not bring your fees down? $2 an order. We're not making a ton on each order. But guess what? As the time goes and we grow, we're in this for the long haul. We're in this to make money for forever. You know, we'll add grocery delivery on. At some point, we'll have alcohol delivery. At some point, we'll have prescriptions. Anything that you can deliver legally, we'll do it. But these other companies, and they're trying to jump into some of these markets and things of that nature, but they're still not profitable. You know, and I understand a lot of times businesses are not profitable in the first 3 to 5 years, but at some point, you got to turn a profit. Mm-hmm. And when you can't turn a profit and you're charging almost as much as a restaurant's, more than what the restaurant's making on it, there's a problem, in my opinion. You know, with our company, we try to run things as lean as we possibly can, but we focus on customer service for the restaurants. We have independent reps all over the country. You know, we have independent reps that get started with our company. They're able to make a commission on every single order. We can get into that in a little bit if you want. But we want to make sure that we have local people in every city that has restaurants going. But we don't let a city open unless they have 10 restaurants and 10 drivers. And then we expand out from that. Because we want to make sure that, hey, you know what? If this restaurant in Topeka, Kansas, or Nashville, or Washington, or Atlanta, or down here in South Florida, if there's an issue and a problem, I don't want that restaurant to have to go get on the phone and call somebody overseas. I want them to know, hey, this is my rep that got started here. I talked to them. They came in, they got me started. I can call this person if worse comes to worse. Right. You know, so we want to give that. I tell people it's a national and international company we're going to be with a local feel. You know, and the feel comes from the local reps. You know, the people that started with our company. They become independent reps. They can start building their own business within our company. But we really, really stress training, teaching our drivers. We'll teach our restaurants how to make more money. I'll just tell you one thing, a restaurant. So our reps that sign up with our company, they make 20% off of every order that they get from a restaurant. So if it's $2, they're going to make 20%. They can make 20 or 40 cents on an order that goes out the door. That can add up after time. So we also give the restaurant the ability to have their customers come in. They can sign their customers up for free. The customer uses the app. Now that $2 that they're giving us as a company on every order that goes out the door, if their customers have signed up using the app, using their referral code, they get that 40 cents back. So now it takes that $2 down to $1.60. Right. On top of that, those same customers can go to any of our other restaurants as long as they're tied to them through that referral code in the beginning. They're going to make that 40 cents from their customer going to another restaurant. At some point, if they got that big enough, they could offset their delivery costs completely. So
this is a great deal for restaurants. Obviously, you talk about the average meal being between $40 and $50. Right. They're probably paying, upwards of $12 per delivery for that. And just to get it down to $2 is great. But if they want to, build that little business around, sharing the information, they can basically get, the deliveries for free, which is ideal. But you are looking right now for independent reps. Explain to me what the independent reps are doing and what the benefit is for them to grow a business with Snap Delivered.
So a rep can get started. We wanted to build something, like I said, we really want to have people, and this is all based on the building from the restaurants. It's like, what can we do best for the restaurants? And we said, we want to have local people that if there's a problem with an order or somebody needs help, we want to have somebody locally that can go tear that. But we also wanted to build a nationwide network of people. And instead of giving the money to advertising and spend, and we'll do advertising at some point, but instead of hundreds of millions of dollars going into advertising, which is how they get their customers, we wanted to have independent reps. So an independent rep can get started with us. They can start building a business within. So there's a couple of ways it works. Someone can sign up for free and they can refer drivers, they can refer restaurants, and they can refer other customers. And they're going to make 20, they don't have to pay anything. They don't have to sign a contract or fee. They download the app, they hit a refer and earn button. They'll be given a referral code. They can send that out. When they go to a restaurant, they talk to that restaurant, they get them to sign up. The restaurant within 3 to 4 days will have their menu up on our platform. They'll start making money. We pay the restaurants every week. In the very near future, we're going to pay them automatically. It'll go just like it was run through their own credit card. But somebody as a customer they can make 20%. So a couple of different ways it works. Like I said, we have customers can pay either $10 a month for unlimited deliveries or $5 per delivery. There's a fuel fee every single time that goes to the driver. So the max they're ever going to pay is $8.50 on a delivery. Mm-hmm. If they only do it one-off. I encourage people, if you're going to order more than once a month, it makes sense to do the $10 a month. Right. Because the more you order, the less that costs you. But me as a customer, if I sent you my referral code, Neil, and you ordered, let's say you're in Atlanta, somewhere in that area, and you use my referral code because you're my friend, and I sent it to you, and you order there, every time you order from a restaurant that's on our platform, I'm going to make 40 cents. So on the $10, 20% of that for the month, I'm going to make $2. That's not a lot, but when you get it added up, we all talk about things we like. Mm-hmm. You know, I used to tell people when I do meetings, I say, listen, if we got paid for the movies we liked and the things we referred, we would all be referring over and over and over. With our system, a lot of them will tell you, hey, you know what? We'll give you that one time. We'll give you a referral fee, or we do that every time. Every single month that person pays that $10, you're going to make $2. That's what we call mailbox money. I mean, it goes directly in your account. You don't have to work for it. What if you had a regular job or something you were doing, but on the side, you added this little bit of money every month? Say you did $10 one month from how many people, and the next month it grew by a few more people and a few more people. That's where this goes. Right. And then, you can refer a driver. Out of that $3.50, we take 50 cents of that for referral fees, and we pay 20% of that, which is only 10 cents. But if you had a bunch of drivers, and you got a bunch of customers, and that thing starts growing, then if you sign up a restaurant as an independent rep, every order that goes out the door, you make 40 cents on it because you're the one that referred them. We do have a business builder thing. Like if somebody really wants to get involved actively and build other sales teams of people around the country, they can do that. They can become a rep with our company. There's a higher position. I won't get into all that today. But we also right now, I don't know when this is going to go out, but up until the time we launched, we had a founder's position in the company where we have profit sharing. As we grow as a company, we are going to take care of the people in the company. It's funny right now, as we're growing and we're starting, we're getting new reps. I pick up the phone and I'll just call some of them arbitrarily. When I see somebody sign up, I'll pick up the phone. And I had a lady the other day, she goes, I don't even know what to say right now. I've never had a CEO or an owner of a company. I can't believe you're calling me. And I said, I can't believe more owners and CEOs don't. Right. Because that's the people. They're the ones that are
exactly. Yeah, it's all about that relationship and building a relationship with the people that are going out and selling for you. Right. So I see a couple of great things right here. First of all, from a restaurant perspective, of course, they're saving money by just being charged $2 instead of $12, like I said before. But there's a huge opportunity there. A lot of these restaurants have big social media followings where they can just send out their own code to their own people and maybe sign up 1,000, 2,000 people under their code who can go out and spend at whichever restaurant they want in around their town, and they get $1, or if it's a membership, $2 a month per person. That can really, really add up.
Yeah, the restaurants would have to become like a rep in the company, and there's some other qualifications that are associated with that. But even doing it for free, a customer can refer people. In a restaurant, if a restaurant just refers people, absolutely, they make a ton of money. Just think if I own Chick-fil-A or I own McDonald's, and as a CEO, and hopefully I'm sure someday we'll end up talking to these people. If I'm the CEO of that and I said, you know what, if I can get all of our customers using this app and they go to any of my competitors, but because we got our customers on this first, we're going to make a little percentage off of it every single time. That's capitalism. That's the American way.
Exactly.
It's nobody's getting hurt. Nobody's gouging anyone. We're not hiding any fees. We're not raising the prices. We're very, very transparent in everything we possibly can do. But this system works. The system has been tried and true in other businesses that we've done. And even in this business, we've done test markets and we know it's going to work. And we haven't even launched yet. We have about 200 reps in the country right now who are excited, fired up to go talk. You were on probably the call we did last night. We had a gentleman that's brand new, signed up with us on a Sunday, got started, didn't know anything about talking to restaurants, went in and signed his first restaurant up the next day. Because all he did was his enthusiasm to help the restaurant. You know, most of these restaurants now are wary of these other delivery companies and they hate them. I have friends of mine that have cut every delivery company out of their place except one. And the only reason they stayed with them is because they said they would bring it down to 15%, which is still crazy to me. I mean, if a restaurant's doing $1,000 in deliveries on a weekly basis, that's $150 you're giving to that delivery company from taking your food to point A to point B. It just doesn't compute to me. But so when our people walk in and our reps walk in and they're excited and they're motivated and they're building a business for themselves within our company, that restaurant owner is going to be a lot more apt to talk to them because they're leading with the fact that, hey, I know you're getting taken advantage of. We want to help you.
Right. And, you know, when you come down to the numbers and you start talking math, you know, it makes sense to the restaurant owners to listen. And, you know, really, all you're doing is you're taking food from one place to another. And as long as you're doing that in an appropriate manner, you know, there shouldn't be this huge disparity in the prices that you pay for that service.
I make these jokes sometimes, like, listen, the driver's not in there seasoning the food and making it better when it leaves the restaurant. Right. Why do they need to get 30%? The company they don't need to get that. You know, and the companies, a lot of these companies, they make their drivers like, you know, I want to make it so our drivers make more money at some point. You know, our goal will be we look at everything, not from a standpoint of how much money our company as a corporation can make, because Zig Ziglar is a really famous speaker. I mean, if you're not old as I am, you probably won't know who he is, but Zig Ziglar said, you know what, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. Right. So if we do the right thing by the restaurants, and we have restaurant owners that are a part of our ownership team. So we have people that are in that industry. We want to make sure they're taken care of. They tell us, hey, don't do this, do this. You know, they make sure that we understand that. I've been a driver. When I owned my own delivery company, I drove. Even now, I mean, last week we had a big catering order come in and nobody else could do it. I'm like, I'm not too good. I went and loaded up my car and I mean, I have pictures of it. Like it was packed to the gills. I mean, that's another area that we haven't even touched on yet. Catering is going to be huge for our company because we do catering for a couple of places out here. We charge them 10%. We charge them $35 up to $350 worth of food and 10% after that. And our drivers, even on the little small end of it, we give them $20. They're doing a delivery that takes them about the same amount of time. They may have to carry a little bit more, but if they can make $20 on a delivery, catering is something we haven't even scratched the surface on yet. Yeah,
and that's huge industry as well. Well, you know, one of these days we're going to have you up to Atlanta. You know, the Chick-fil-A started here. Their offices are here. They
started there.
So, and they're everywhere. I know they're everywhere all over the country now. But
my kids' favorite food.
Yeah, they're based in Atlanta, so we're definitely going to have to get them on board. This referral business, it's a dream for the restaurants as well. You know, restaurant owners, they talk, they, you know, hey, how much are you paying for delivery? About 30%. Well, I'm paying $2. How do I sign up? You know?
Yeah, I'm going to call later today for a gentleman that during the pandemic, he started something on Facebook called a Socially Distant Supper Club, where they would have a Facebook group of like 7,000 people. They would do flash mobs to go to restaurants whenever the pandemic was going in. He single-handedly probably helped save a lot of those restaurants down here in Florida because he would get, like, they would get all these people that order from one place for one day and make their whole week and get recognition. But he's got 80 restaurants that I'm talking to today that are already excited and fired up. It's easy, you know, and it's like, we just got to make sure as a corporation, we do everything on the back end the right way. And we will, you know, because I know what it's like to be a driver. You know, I've done it. I know what it's like when the order's not right and the customer gets upset. I know how to make sure our drivers, you know, confirm things with the restaurant, do things by, you know, with the pandemic, do things by the CDC, make sure everything's healthy and done the correct way. You know, I just did a video yesterday. I've never seen a video where the other companies talk to their drivers as human beings. Like, you know what? We want to help you make as much money. If you have suggestions, send them in to us. You know, we want to help you. I mean, when we start getting drivers involved, as a CEO of this company, I will call some of those drivers out of the blue just to talk to them because they're the backbone of what we do.
Right.
You know?
You've got to know what they're doing and what they're seeing in the field in order for you to make those informed decisions.
And you got to listen to people too.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times these big corporations, they can't move like we can. I've had some people go, well, don't you think they can just go do the same thing you're doing? No, they can't because they won't. If they were going to do what we're doing, they would have already done it.
Yeah.
You know, these companies are so big now and so, you know, gigantic. They can't really change in the course of the way they're doing because they're already losing money. Can you imagine if they went from what they're doing now to $2 an order?
$2, right.
You can't do it, you know? So we're really
all right. Yeah, Paul, this has been great.
Awesome.
I got a lot of information from you today, and I'm sure the listeners will be intrigued about, you know, how they can not only be a customer, but maybe even be a rep in the business and share the value that you're offering. So tell them how they can sign up as a rep or a customer. As
of right now, we're signing up founding members, reps in the company. They can go to snapdelivered.com, snapdelivered.com. I don't know if you have a website you're sending them to as well, but snapdelivered.com. They can go there. They can put the person that referred them. There's a box when they sign up. They can ask questions. There's a custom box. Once we launch everything on September 1st, our apps will be available for download. Then you can just download everything if you see this after the time we launch. And I mean, it's very, very easy. But if you have any issues, you have any problems, let me give out our 800 number as well. I haven't memorized it in my head yet, but I'll get it for you real quickly. Sorry about that. But I mean, they can go to our website, ask questions. We have Facebook groups on social media. Our 800 number is 1-888-587-7627. That's 888-587-7627. So you can call that. Don't be surprised if I answer the phone every now and then. But I mean, we're really looking for sharp, motivated individuals who, you know, some of you may have contacts with restaurants. Some of you may own restaurants if you're watching this, or manage restaurants. Like, we want to be the company that comes out and helps save the restaurants because a lot of them have been through a lot of bad things over the last couple of years. But delivery is not going away. It's becoming bigger and bigger every day. And we are going to be a major player in it. We're going to do it the right way.
Yeah, excellent stuff. And of course, like you mentioned before, with the people that have these large followings in Facebook groups, great opportunity for them to get in there and share the message as well. So really exciting stuff, Mr. Paul Mikel. I appreciate you being my guest today, and thanks for sharing with me.
All right. Thanks. Have a great day.
And to our listening audience, if you like what you hear, hit that like button, share, and we will see you next time on the show.
You've been listening to the Trust Factor Radio with Neil Howe. To learn about the resources mentioned in the show and to listen to past episodes, go to thetrustfactorradio.com. To get a copy of the book, The Trust Factor, go to thetrustfactorbook.com. If you are ready to act now and build your authority, credibility, and trust, schedule a consultation with Neil at theauthorityarchitect.com.